So, Alex, Gumpers, you like games? Preferably of the Sonic variety?
You know, it's funny you bring up games. A friend of mine once talked about games,
Mm-hmm.
and it reminded me of a story that there's videos in these games.
There are.
I think that's pretty cool.
Yeah. Fuck that board game shit. We're all about playing games with videos in them. So we play Sony games.
Movies.
Movies.
Let's remake the movies. Let's remake the remakes.
Only if they have come out within the most recent years. Anything past 10 years, strictly off limits. Strictly off limits.
And speaking of Sony,
We have The Last of Hedgehog. We have the Sonic tier list, is what I'm saying. So I guess I'm just going to go in order of the games listed here. This is strictly like main series and kind of main series adjacent. Any of the like more complex spin-offs I'll probably do a separate video for, because for all the Sonic games, this probably won't be a one-off or it'd be too long.
and for context, I'm not a huge Sonic fan. I don't dislike it, but I'm not super familiar with it. I'm more of the classic version of Sonic. Haven't played a lot of the 3D games, so I'm kind of like that outside opinion.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna. This is not my list. This is his.
right.
I'm kind of just here.
And he'll give his opinions on the one that he has played.
It's like Sonic, the tier list, the song featuring Gumpers.
Yeah.
Like it's like that.
Sonic, the tier list, the song. So, we start off with Sonic Unleashed, and I guess because like I see it on the list twice, it depends on which one they're talking about. Because there's the one on 360, PS3, and there's the one on Wii and PS2. So personally, I'm actually going to hold off on Unleashed for right now. But Sonic 4 Episode 2, not the worst. Better than Episode 1.
I have not played either of these games.
Long story short, Sonic 4 had this big sort of marketing campaign, and then when it came out, the first episode sucked because it was like everything that they got everything wrong pretty much about what people liked about the classic Sonic games.
It's good.
Episode 2 absolved some of the problems, but it still wasn't fantastic, still wasn't great. And then the reception, I think, was so bad that they actually canceled Episode 3 and any like subsequent
And
episodes.
did it even make it to Episode 4 of Sonic 4?
Nah, man.
Wow.
Nah. Sonic Rivals was one of the ones that like took me the longest to play because I didn't get a PSP till like 2010 when Kingdom Hearts Birth by Sleep came out.
Never even heard of this.
I've mainly it's one of the ones that didn't make it to Japan. Like it's strictly like a North American European game. There were not very many Sonic games that were like made for PSP, and there wasn't really any Sonic games for Vita except for All Stars Transformed.
I just don't really see why it would make sense. Like Game Boy, I mean, it has a huge history with Game Boy.
Right,
But, like,
yeah.
On like, it's weird to think that there's a Sonic game on PSP
Yeah,
or Vita. That's very strange.
especially because this one came out like right after Sonic 06.
The good one.
Yeah. So
We'll get to that.
I was not a fan of the first one personally. Like it's been maybe 10 years since I've played it, so I might have to revisit it if I can like dig it out.
Why are there two Sonic 4s?
Because this is episode 1. The one that's in C, like the one that's just that's episode 2.
Okay.
Episode 1 is Stinky Dookie Garbage.
Stinky dookie garbage.
Everyone's talked in length about it, but the physics are ass, the controls ass, music's not the worst. There are some songs I actually like, but it's just like it's literally just rehashing a lot of old Sonic stuff, not doing anything new, and being like, people will like it, you know? Sonic Triple Trouble.
Triple trouble.
This was one of the ones on the Game Gear. Game Gear, of course, being a Sega handheld, had a lot of original Sonic games. Like, they ended up having like 12 games in total for the Game Gear. And this was still like early days for Sonic. I remember Triple Trouble probably being my favorite. Some of the music is surprisingly good, and I kind of wish that they would remix it more often. Sonic Rush on the DS, very good game. This is the one that introduced Blaze the Cat. I think that, like, if you ever find it, like if we ever go to Regen and find it, definitely pick it up.
Local video game spot.
Yeah, support your local businesses.
It is.
Absolutely. Sonic 2 is,
I have played this one.
yeah. And so what are your thoughts on Sonic 2?
I do like Sonic 2 more than the original. I like the levels more. I think it was the first one with station.
The space station?
No, it was the water level.
Chemical plant.
Chemical plant.
Yeah, that's Sonic 2.
Very cool.
Absolutely. Banger.
It's been a minute. I did watch your Let's Play with Necro Mascot on it. I would put it in A or B tier from it, in my opinion.
Absolutely. Like, of course, the original Genesis games are going to be the highest. 2, I think, improved on everything that 1 did, and 1's not even a bad game at all. It's just, it just is.
There's just some of the worlds and that are a miss for me.
Yeah.
Completely. But the music in 1 slaps.
Oh, absolutely.
Slaps.
Legendary classics. Okay, Sonic 3D Blast. This is an interesting one because looking at this list, I only see it once, but the thing is, this technically has 2 different versions, for the Sega Genesis and for the Sega Saturn. It's not a particularly good game, but I prefer the Saturn one more because of its soundtrack. Like, its soundtrack is one of my favorite soundtracks in video game history. And for like years, I've heard everyone say, oh, I prefer the Genesis version. But like, the Saturn soundtrack, I'm going to have to show you some of the songs because that defined me when I was a teenager.
That's a bold statement, Evan.
Really?
The soundtrack?
Oh, dude, 3 Blast Saturn soundtrack is phenomenal. Absolutely
I'll
amazing.
take your word for that, for sure.
So, like, as a game, it's not great, but as, like...
Poopy stinky.
Yeah, it has, like, a weird place in my heart.
F is, like, foul stinky.
Yeah, and, like
like
toxic stinky.
Yeah.
So, Sonic Generations on 3DS. To this day, if you are literally strictly Nintendo, like you've never had a PS3 or 360 or anything like that, if you strictly had like GameCube, Wii U, 3DS, and Switch, and like the handhelds, well, I mean 3DS is a handheld, but like if you've never had a non-Nintendo home console, you have not played the proper version of Sonic Generations. Generations on 3DS, fantastic soundtrack, interesting level choices. It's just that it's very watered down and feels like wasted potential, and it doesn't hold a candle to the console version. So, it's been a hot minute since I've played it, but I think I'm just gonna barely nudge it into C, personally. So, Sonic Rivals 2, I remember I like this one a little bit more than the first one because it has more playable characters, like different storylines. Some of the character interactions were cool because, like, for partners, they paired Shadow with Metal Sonic and then Silver with Espio the Chameleon from the Chaotix. And it was kind of interesting to see those character dynamics. Like, I definitely wouldn't mind seeing a sort of return to the idea of pairing up like, oddball characters together-ish. Very good. Okay, Sonic Adventure. This is absolutely S-tier game. Sonic Adventure is one of my quintessential games. Like, if I needed to make a list of 5 games that I need to tell you about myself, or like my top 5 favorite games of all time, Sonic Adventure is on there. That is how much it means to me. And I'm personally a Dreamcast purist, so like the ports they did for GameCube and PC and 360 PS3, like Steam later on, because it first had the disc release, then it was on Steam, I highly suggest, and I know this is rich people talk, I'm sorry about it, but like, if you have the money and if you find it, get a Dreamcast and play Sonic Adventure 1 and Sonic Adventure 2 and the boatload of other great games that the Dreamcast had. If you can't do that, virtually any PC can play Sonic Adventure 1, or as it's known, DX, Director's Cut, but there's wonderful mods out there that like convert it back to its sort of Dreamcast glory. It's not exactly 1-to-1, but it's really good. And I think that's the only way to play Sonic Adventure on modern platforms, in my opinion.
You didn't hear it from me, but I'm hearing a little rumor. Dreamcast 2.
2/22/22. Make it happen, baby.
You heard it here, but you didn't hear it from me. You might have heard it from him, but you didn't hear it from either of us.
Exactly.
Okay? Dreamcast 2, it's sad.
It is sad.
It's sad.
It's sad. Okay, so this is a different one. Sonic 2 on the Game Gear / Master System. Sonic 1 and 2 had 8-bit equivalents. So like it's another Game Gear game, but their Master System, the console before the Genesis, they did versions of Sonic 1 and Sonic 2 that are wildly different from one another, especially the second one. And the second one's kind of poopy.
Foul stinky?
Yeah, like Sonic 2 on Game Gear is just like ridiculously bullshit hard. It feels like it's weird because technically it came a month before Sonic 2, because Sonic 2 Genesis was November 24th, 1992. I remember the important dates. And then this was October of 1992. And so, like, this was technically the world's first appearance of Tails, and he's not even playable in this, but he's playable in Genesis one. This one is just bullshit hard. It's not fun. Original Sonic the Hedgehog, I think, is one of those ones that it's interesting to ask because, like, it's one of the most ported games of all time. And, of course, this is one you've played. Like,
I like.
Yeah.
I'm not good at Sonic games, but when I did get my Genesis at Regen, that was the first game I picked up.
Hell yeah,
Straight
man.
up.
Sonic 1, I think, Sonic 1 over the past, like, 10 years has gotten some criticism because people think that, like, I've heard some people say, like, oh, Green Hill Zone's the only good zone in that game. And it's like, I understand that they take you from Green Hill, which is, like, this perfect speed platforming mix, and then they put you in Marble Zone, which is just slow central.
I'm not a fan. So.
Right, like...
I do think Sonic the Hedgehog is a good game, and I would put it where you're putting it.
Yeah, like B tier. Like,
I do think that 2 is a superior game.
Absolutely. So Sonic 3 and Knuckles, I think, is going to be S tier. Do you disagree with that?
No, I don't. I think Sonic 3 is, in my opinion, the best Sonic game from the ones that I've played.
And you're going to like hearing this, but June 23rd, when Sonic Origins comes out, you're going to be able to play it 60 FPS in widescreen.
Let's play.
Absolutely, dude. I'm getting that shit day one. Okay, now this is confusing. This is confusing. So, Sonic Blast on Game Gear. I know that the titling is really weird because you'd think, oh, this is just another version of Sonic 3D Blast. No, completely different game. It is a side-scroller on the Game Gear. Plays like ass, like one of the worst Sonic games of all time. Terrible collision, animation work, bad level design, piss-easy bosses. And it's like, they tried to do a Donkey Kong Country style where it looks 3D, even though it's pre-rendered-ish, like, kind of thing.
So which of the 3 F tiers are the stinkiest?
Out of all of these right now, I would probably, like, if you held a gun to my head and say, you have to play one of these F-tier Sonic games right now, I would choose 4 Episode 1 over these two. Because I feel like 4 Episode 1 at least functions. Like, I can get through a playthrough of it. Sonic 1 on the Game Gear is a surprising little gem. I don't think it's as good as the, of course, the Genesis version, but it has a couple of a bit of uniqueness to it. One of the songs for the zones in this game actually got later adapted into Tails' theme from Sonic Adventure, like how in that game all of the playable characters had vocal themes. Well, 5 out of the 6 did, but like one of the songs for the zones in this game got turned into Tails' theme, which I think is very cool. Sonic Rush Adventure is the sequel to Sonic Rush, so it's the same very similar formula, made by the same team, and I think they're about equal, because I think that Rush Adventure had the better level design and sort of the cooler mechanics, with like the Sonic can use like a jet ski on it for some of the games, like mini games, but I don't like how it has that kind of a fetch quest collectathon, like we need to get more materials for this like machine. I'm not a personal fan of that.
Sonic's problem.
Yeah, that's not a Sonic exclusive thing.
Ain't my problem. Ain't Sonic's problem.
Yeah.
Not in his games, boy.
Not my problem.
No.
Sonic Advance 3. There's a bit of contention on like when Sonic Advance sort of dipped, because I know that some people say like, oh, Advance 2's the worst. No, Advance 3's the worst. I'm gonna place Advance 3 on C tier because I remember some of the level design gets like kind of bullshit at certain points in the game a lot earlier than it should. It does have one of my favorite zones from a handheld Sonic game, though, Cybertrack. Music's incredible in that area specifically, and it's a great zone, but of course, like, I think right now, from what I remember, it's the weakest out of the advanced games, but none of them are bad. None of them are bad. Sonic and the Black Knight is going to be another A-tier game, and literally the only thing that's stopping it from being S-tier is the controls. Literally, Black Knight has everything in the world going for it, except for the controls. Fantastic music, possibly among the best Sonic stories ever written. Fantastic voice acting, especially for the time. Looks visually great, especially for a Wii game. Like, this is Sega is one of the few developers, in my opinion, that actually used the Wii to its fullest possible potential. Because, a lot of Wii games, like the shovelware ones, just look like ass. But, like, a company like Sega or Capcom, like, some of these bigger ones knew how to make good-looking Wii games, even if they weren't in HD. So, like, Black Knight, I just think because it's on the Wii, it's got the waggle problem. But I think if you fixed that, Like, if they came out with, like, a Secret Rings Black Knight Ultimate Bundle and you just fixed the controls, I think they'd be phenomenal games, like, amazing games. And speaking of Secret Rings, I'm a Secret Rings apologist. The Secret Rings is the one where, so first of all, I'd say right now, for me, it's in B tier. Because Secret Rings was the one that you hold the Wii Remote on its side, and then you would tilt forward to go forward, tilt back to go back.
Is that the one where you run straight?
Yeah, that's one. Yeah. Did you know that that game is one of the reasons why Sonic 06 is the way it is? And now, it is time for history with EvanUno. So, little history lesson for you. Originally, Sonic 06 was going to be on Xbox 360, PS3, Windows, and Wii. However, when Sega and Sonic Team got the Wii dev kits, they realized, oh shit, we're not going to be able to port 06 to this console in a timely manner, if at all. So they were like, okay, we want a game out for the Wii's launch, or as close to the Wii's launch as possible. So they split the team in two. One team worked on 06, one team worked on the game that would become Secret Rings. So
splitting up dev teams always makes good things.
It's always a fantastic decision.
idea.
Fantastic decision. This has been History with EvanUno.
Get off the microphone!
But like, as a game, again, like, the controls are definitely the thing I would change the most. But I liked the sort of mission system it had going for it. Again, fantastic music. This is one of the few Sonic games that has profanity in it, even if it's not used in the actual profane way.
What does he say, damn?
When Sonic collects the secret rings and like the horde of fledgling emotions comes over him, he's like, who knows what these things could do? They could open the gates of hell. And I remember Kid Me was like, Sonic said the word. Ah!
Evan, we're gonna get demonetized.
Implying we're making money from this.
Fucking mouth.
You too, bitch. Anyway,
Sonic Heroes. This was the first Sonic game I ever played. Weirdly enough.
Honestly, it was a lot of people's first because it was like the first multi-platform Sonic game. What are your thoughts on it?
All right, it's a little weird because I've replayed this several times. When it came out, because I remember getting the PS2 Slim at my mom's house, and that was a game she bought me, and I wasn't very familiar, but at the time, like, I was blown away. I thought it was super cool. I thought the characters were cool. The music is really good.
Absolutely.
It's just fun. So, a kid's perspective of playing it the first time, I would probably put it in B tier. But I replayed it, I think, when I was 16 or 17. Still fun, but it has not aged gracefully in certain areas.
I can
the
definitely
camera
agree.
drives me insane. I would probably put it in C tier and at the lowest D tier. But I still like it.
Of course, yeah. I like Heroes a lot too, but I'm going to have to put it in C tier because, honestly, you said you played it on PS2. I would prefer, if you would ever go back to it, the GameCube version. The GameCube version, along with Shadow's game, like, even though that's when Sonic games started to go multi-platform, the GameCube versions just ran best. Like, they ran at 60 frames per second, and if you, like, booted up the Xbox or PlayStation 2 versions of those games, you could tell the difference. I think the GameCube version ended up being the most polished, which is saying something, because this game had, like, an intense crunch time. This game only had 2 level designers. And one of them ended up losing like...
The levels are pretty big, too.
Yeah, and one of them ended up losing like 20 pounds in the hospital from the stress of trying to get this game out on time.
Damn, I guess the DLC's not coming out. A fun little fact, speaking of like Sonic games with cursing.
Yeah.
Whenever, as a kid, whenever you would play as Knuckles and he would punch, I always thought he said, shit rock.
That's
shit rock.
That's what I thought too.
And I was like, whoa, Mom!
Mom!
These cartoon characters are saying bad words.
Oh my god.
You're not playing this game anymore, son. Shit rock! Shit rock! Shit rock!
Oh my god.
But no, I really thought this man was just yelling, shit rock! Shit rock!
Why would you want to shit rocks, Knuckles? That sounds painful. You pass a kidney stone before?
That's TMI for me.
Sonic Adventure 2, so like...
Never played it.
Necro mascot Luke knows that I have like a very, I guess, troubled history with this game. However, I've made a final decision. A tier.
Okay.
I will come to this because I know I said it on that Sonic CD playthrough I did with him. I love Sonic Adventure 2. I do. Even if I think some people hold it in way too high a regard to the point where they act like you can't criticize it because the criticism isn't in good faith, I still will admit I have my problems with Adventure 2, but I don't think they're on the magnitude that a lot of people in the 2010s sort of like pushed, because I know I've talked about this, like, it sounds like a conspiracy theory, but there was a big wave, or like a big-ish wave of people coming out saying, actually, Sonic Adventures 1 and 2 were never good, they were always terrible games, and I just think that's not a very good comparison. I don't think it's very good to say. There are parts of it that aren't very polished, but I think overall, both adventure games are incredible experiences and games that you should definitely try out. Like, I feel like you could try either a 2D Sonic game or Adventure 1, 2, Unleashed, Colors, or Generations, personally.
All I can say, because I do plan on going through these games, I'm going to hold your tier list to heart. D and F tier, I'm probably not going to touch.
Of course, like, I wouldn't blame you, because they're not worth touching.
No.
So, since Sonic Unleashed is on the list twice, I assume this is because of the different versions, Wii and PS2, and then 360 PS3. If we're talking about Wii and PS2, I'm going to have to put this at D tier, because it feels like, it's not even that it's like a necessarily bad game, but it's like, it does everything that...
It's just average.
It's very average, and it does everything that regular HD definitive Unleashed does, but worse. Like, it does feel like it's literally the poor man's fucking Sonic Unleashed, but you shouldn't afford that, because Unleashed regularly, phenomenal, like, experience, in my opinion. One of the big reasons I got a 360 was to play the HD version of Unleashed, because I was just like, the one that I play on the Wii, that's different from the ones I see on the reviews and stuff. Knuckles Chaotix. So this is another interesting one. This is when they tried to do some spin-offs with Sonic's immediate friends, so Tails and Knuckles, and this was the introduction of, you know, the Team Chaotix in Sonic Heroes, right? This was their introduction. So I will admit, I like them, but it's not a good game.
Ooh,
it's not a good game.
Stinky.
Yeah, it's... It was one of those games that I was always eager to get a chance to play, because it was on the 32X. Who the fuck owned a 32X? Like, and the fact that it's never gotten, like, a proper port, because apparently Sega games from, like, CD and 32X are very hard to emulate and, like, compile the code for. It's never gotten put on any, like, modern collection. It wasn't on Mega Collection, wasn't on Gems Collection, and it sure as hell isn't on anything like Steam. It's not a good Sonic game, and I don't think it's really a good game because it does not feel like it gels well. The big mechanic is that you have these rings that have the tethers to them, and you can lose like one character and another character, and you're supposed to sort of work together to overcome certain obstacles, like Charmy flying, Espio having like more speed and stealth and stuff. But it's like, it doesn't work. It feels like the game's not designed around these characters having all of these abilities. So, personally, even as like a, if you're curious thing, I don't even know if I'd recommend Knuckles Chaotix, because if we're assuming that you're playing this legally, you would have to get a Genesis, which isn't hard, a CD, which is expensive, and a 32X, which is also expensive and hard to find. Then you have to hook all those up together, and then you have to find a copy of Knuckles Chaotix, and last I checked, even without the box, they're not cheap. And, like, all that for a game that's probably gonna suck? No thank you.